Hey there. Now we're going to manage the job board and get these jobs cranking through production and try and get them out the door. So the job board here is a kind of a visual snapshot of everything that you have going on, its current status. And part of it's automated when you upload proofs, customers approve proofs, and it'll go back from design to approve to production, based on some of your settings, for you. You don't have to go there and maintain of it. Some of it is still automated though. It's a job board that you and your employees ideally are managing based on what's going on with these jobs. So what you would do is, as you go through, and here we have our Dave's Bait and Tackle. These are the two jobs, and with the job board, I can sort and find all of my jobs. I want to sort by title, and just click on here, and it'll sort Z to A, or A to Z, that kind of stuff, or create a date, most recent at the top, or earliest or oldest, or whatever it's going to be. Again, these are just sortable. And what you have is you have the ability to set priorities. So let's just say that this job here, this building sign, is a hot job. I have to get it done, right away. So I'm going to set this one to be a priority, just a little higher, than everything else. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reassign the production to somebody else. This person here, whoever, or I think it's Robin Posey, so that's their initials. They're working on the Camaro graphics. So I'm going to leave that to them. But this job here, I'm going to reassign to somebody else, and I can easily do that. And then as soon as you do those things, they get notified that those things happen. So you get a lot of control over your job board, changing due dates on the fly. When you have your production meetings, make sure everything's accurate. And again, you can change statuses and things like that. So here I have this design. Maybe I got a call that says, "Hey, I need to put this on hold." So no problem. I'll just put it on hold, and there it is. Again, my job board will also automate when things are falling behind. So you'll see I'll have some pink lines here and some yellow lines. When it's yellow, it means the due date is still valid, but the status that it's in has fallen behind. So it was due on the 26th, but the signed due date's the end of the month. Where here, my vehicle wrap for this company here was due on the 29th, and I'm basically past due, and I'm 13 days past due. So you have the ability to kind of get visually notified when things are falling behind, or even past due. You get icons that'll say this requires install, or it's a rush job. It'll notify your deposits, how much you took down on the job, if you have open balance on it or something like that. In addition to it, you can see all of your new jobs, everything that might be past due, just at a click of a button. Again, these are all sortable. So if you want to see where you're at, what jobs are waiting to get approved by the customer, so forth and so on. So any one of those statuses the job could be in, you can just click a button and it'll let you know where it's at. So with the active job board, I have a couple options. I could print it out. I could also get a summary if I want to know, just break it down visually, what's in install, what's in production, what's in design. A job board like this looks really good on a widescreen monitor, like up on the production wall, where guys can sync it with an iPad or a tablet or a little open player or something like that, that's linked to the internet. In addition to that, I can go back to the normal. And what I like about this is I can go to a production board as well. And here we have all the jobs, a 2-week snapshot that we got going on and where they're at. And the idea here is that I can manage what jobs I'm going to do for the day. It tells me where it's at, its current status, its priority. And if I really wanted to, I could kind of get a double click and get a fly out of where things are at and jump right back to the job too if I needed to. So what's really cool about this though is that as your day goes along, so it's a fluid environment, running a sign business a lot of times. So you have to make adjustments on the fly. So this board kind of allows you to do that. You can just click and drag and really just move things around and manage what you got going on. And like I said before, this is your priority. This is where it's at. And this one has a priority of 1, which means it's the hottest job for the day. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't drag anything above it. It just doesn't let me. It just says, hey, now this job's priority. It's going to take precedence. So you can, if you have a higher priority, you cannot reorganize lower priorities above it. So you can use this, and as you drag these around, it will update due dates. And with this as well, on the install tab, you have an install board as well. So instead of just a list, you can manage your installs exactly the same way. But with the install tab, it estimates how much time you've built in there, so you don't overbook yourself based on the estimated time to get these jobs done. So a really cool feature, and very, very helpful visually and easily obtaining due dates and seeing what you got going on for a 2-week snapshot. So back to the active job. What I would do here is just As I do the production, you can see I have these green bullets. One that means the proof's been completed. The green for materials been ordered. Yellow, production is in process. And then the red means that this is required, this hasn't been completed yet. So as I move this through, I would go in as the production person and say, okay, building sign has been produced. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to move it to install. I'm going to mark production off, and it automatically, changed who was responsible for installation. And if I wanted to actually put a comment in there, that something about the job, that I may need to do to notify the installer. Whatever it might be. Add the comment. That way everybody can be aware, of what's going on. It'll timestamp it, tell you, who added it and that kind of stuff as well. So when I go back to my job board, production is done, install is now in process. So you kind of do the same thing. Camaro graphics are being done. All right, production is done. Let's move it to install. Installer gets notified. Back to the job board, install does their thing. They're all done. And again, you can move it right through here and say, move it to the next stage. I personally like to go, into here and say install is completed. Move it to, call to the customer. And instead of jumping back and forth, to my job board, I can even just go right over here and go right to the other job and say, okay, install's done. I'm going to move this to call, and then so forth and so on until everything is finished. We call the customer, they came to pick it up. So the job is closed. And when you hit close, it just kind of wipes it off the job board. So when I go back, I only have one for Dave's Bait and Tackle. Basically, the rest have all been completed until I get the opportunity to close everything out and then move it to an invoice. When I am finished, I'll just move that to close right now and get it done. That'll notify somebody to go in and basically invoice it. So I can jump right back to the order from here. And if I wanted to, I can move that right to an invoice. It's going to ask me, hey, you sure you want to invoice it? Absolutely. And this is an open invoice. It's because they have a balance due. They haven't paid the rest of their deposit. So what I might do is give them a call and say, come in and make their payment. If they do that, I can certainly go down and hit record payment. Let's say they paid by Amex. There's the balance. This is when they paid. Maybe a little note. And your authorization number, whatever that might be. Applied to this job here. Save the payment. Okay, there it is. I'm going to jump back to the order because you can see that it's automatically moved it as closed. So as soon as you turn something into an invoice in signVOX, it immediately starts ticking your AR. It'll automatically move to past due. If you have terms and they don't pay and it stays open till then, and you can find it in all of your reports and things like that. So what I would do from here is I would say, all right, I'm going to email the customer. This is who it's going to, and give them a little note. Okay. And then I'm going to go down there and I can choose the kind of thing I want to send them. I can send them a payment receipt or a partial invoice. If I send them the invoice, if it's paid in full, it'll show all the payments that it's paid in full. And then I'm going to send my 10% off coupon that I've uploaded as an asset. And if I've uploaded, finished pictures of their sign, as for my records as well, I would just say, here's the picture of your finished sign, thank you. And then they're going to get three things: the paid invoice, the coupon for your 10% off their next order, and the picture of their finished sign. Just hit send, and it's really that simple. And maybe a year down the road, or hopefully sooner than that, they come back and they say, yeah, you know what, I will need to get that building sign or that banner, whatever it might be. Again, look up the job, go to the customer screen or search for it, and just hit a button that says reorder. Change the due date to when you want that to be due. And all that information that you had on the first order is all there. All their notes, all your production notes, and all that other stuff is right there for you. Move it right in production. So it's really that easy. So that's the whole entire life cycle, from start to finish in terms of the sales lead all the way through invoicing and payments. And the next video, We'll show you a couple reports, looking at some of the reports and financial information and business intelligence that signVOX has to kind of show you what you might look at, for the end of the month and things like that. So again, thanks for watching. Take care.